everyone, happy Saturday and welcome back to Clues by Sam. We have another tricky one today, which is interesting. I almost thought that this was yesterday's puzzle, but I'm seeing the date and this is correct, so let's see how this goes. If you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it's a daily logic puzzle game where you have 20 people, each of them may be a criminal or an innocent, and you gotta use the clues that they themselves give you to figure out who is what. And I'm here every day practicing this. I hope I can help you if you get stuck, because I encourage you to try. There is a link in the description to take you to it, and if you want to do it following along with me, then we can start right now. Well, we have Ethan telling us that Laura is one of two innocents in between Diane and Will. So Diane is here, Will is here, they're in the same column. There's 3 people between them, and 2 of them are innocents. One of them is a criminal. Laura is one of those innocents, which means that either Hope or Peter are the second innocent and the other one is a criminal. We don't need Ethan's clue anymore. Now Laura tells us that each column has at least 4 innocents. So we know there's 2 innocents in column B already. One of them is Laura, the second one's either gonna be Hope or Peter, but to make 4, we need both Diane and Will to be innocents as well. And I guess let's leave Laura's clue here because it tells us about all the other columns. Now we have 2 new clues. Diane tells us that Noah and Kay have an equal number of criminal neighbors. Where's Noah and where's Kay? Kay is here, Noah is here. We know that Kay has so far 2 innocent neighbors and 1 criminal one. Noah's gonna have to have that as well, but we don't know anything about Noah. So let's leave it at that. Let's look at Will's clue. Jason is one of 3 innocents above Zara. So we know that Jason is one of Noah's innocent neighbors. And there's 3 innocents above Zara, so he has so many innocents. Are all of them innocents? No, we have 1 criminal. I'm still waiting for the day where all people are innocents or all people are criminals. Okay, so what we know now is that column D, or the people who are above Zara in column D, are in 3 innocents. But each column has to have at least 4 innocents. So that tells us that Zara has to be an innocent. So that column D has 4. And we still don't know about the other people. Let's look at Zara then. There are exactly 2 innocents above Uma. Right, Uma? Uma is here, which means that she is one of the innocents in column D. Why is that? There's 3 innocents above Zara. Jason is one of the 2 that are above Uma. So that means that either Noah or Floyd are gonna be an innocent and the other one a criminal. And that's 2 innocents, but there has to be 3 above Zara. So Uma has to be the 3rd one. And we don't need Zara's clue anymore. We don't need Will's either. Now Uma tells us that Gary has more criminal neighbors than Noah. Where's Gary? Here. That's an interesting thing. He's tricky, really, because now Noah and Kay have the same number of innocent neighbors so far, right? Kay's gonna have 2 here, Noah has 2 already. Noah has to have 1 criminal neighbor at least. It has to be here. Either Ike, Mark, or Ruby. What does that tell us? Since column C has to have 4 innocents at least, and one of the people here are for sure gonna be a criminal, Xavier has to be an innocent. Right? That's one of the things we know. What else do we know? We know that Noah can only have 1 criminal neighbor because the maximum number of criminals in column C is 1, and in each column also. So that tells us if Gary has more criminal neighbors than Noah, Gary has to have at least 2. And the same thing for column A. Column A can only have 1 criminal, right? Because all columns have 5 people total. 4 of them have to be innocent at least. So one of the people, their neighbor Gary, in column A have to be a criminal so that Gary can have 2 criminal neighbors. But it couldn't be that both of them are, because that would make it so that column A has more criminals than it should. And who is the second criminal? If it couldn't be in column A, it has to be Hope. Hope is a criminal then, Peter is an innocent. And now Peter tells us that Hope has exactly 6 innocent neighbors. So one of them is a criminal already, which means that Hope has 2 criminal neighbors because she has 8 neighbors total. And we also know that Gary is an innocent because of the 4 innocents in each column thing. And we also know about both Olivia and Vera because of the 4 innocents in each column thing. So we also know that Hope has to have 2 criminal neighbors because she has 8 total, but 6 of them are innocent. One of them is either Amy or Kay, one of the criminals. Second one's gonna be either Ike or Mark. And that tells us that Ruby is an innocent. And now Ruby tells us there's an odd number of criminals neighboring Laura, which means that since Laura has 1 criminal neighbor here, Kay couldn't be the second. Oh, Kay has to be the second because Hope's gonna be the third one. Almost didn't see Hope there. So Hope is 1 criminal neighbor. Laura's gonna have a second one for sure here, who's either gonna be Ike or Mark. So she has to have a third one to make an odd number, which means that Kay has to be a criminal, and that makes Amy an innocent. And now we don't need Ruby's clue anymore. We don't need Uma's either. Now Amy tells us there's an odd number of innocents neighboring Ike. Ike also has 8 neighbors total. And we know that he already has 1 criminal neighbor here. He's gonna have a second one here. And that's gonna make 6 innocent neighbors, but he has to have an odd number of innocent neighbors, so we know that Mark has to be the 7th. Did that make sense? Because I don't think it did. I think my math is wrong. Ike has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 innocent neighbors. So he couldn't have a 6th, because that will make an even number. So that makes Mark criminal. Yeah, and Ike himself an innocent. Okay. Now, imagine if none of us were here. Oh, I was thinking that Ike said that none of us were criminals, but that's not what he said. Mark now tells us there are exactly 2 criminals in row 3. So we're talking about rows now. And row 3 already has 2 criminals, Kay and Mark, which means that Noah couldn't be one, so 2 criminals, right? So Noah is an innocent, and that makes Floyd a criminal. Okay, that's good. I like it. These last ones have had very interesting mechanics and clues combinations that we haven't seen a lot of before. So I'm enjoying this a lot, and I hope you enjoy this as well. And let me know how it went for you if you did play it. I'll be here again tomorrow with more Clues by Sam, hopefully a hard one. So see you tomorrow.